And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for a team announcement reaction, which is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, that is the team that has been named, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just going to fix it quickly just so that we can reflect that Bongi Mbonambi is your captain for the day. And what a day it's going to be. And I can tell you right now that I am very excited because I will get to watch what could very well be the strangest Springbok team to ever take a field play this weekend. I mean, it is so far from a team that I think anybody would have called. And yet, I don't hate it. You know, I think that's the funniest thing about this whole situation is that it is such a strange team. And yet I'm in for it. I'm in for it. And it's interesting because, you know, if you were to name the side and as an outsider, if you were to name the side and look at each position in terms of positions that these teams were sort of picked for, really, or the players were picked for, it would just make zero sense. It would make absolutely zero sense. We have got 4 scrum offs in the lineup, lads. 4. And yet I don't hate it. We have got only one out-and-out hooker in the 23. And yet, I don't hate it. We do not have a single player here who plays their domestic rugby at 10. Let that settle in. We do not have one natural out-and-out fly half in the 23. And yet, I don't hate it. It's a bizarre team. It really was. And I'm interested to see what everybody's going to have to say because I think it's really fun. I really do. So I'm going to ask questions saying what the poll is. Do you like the SA team? Let's bring my team, should I say? Yes or no? Simple yes or no. And I want to know what you guys think in the comments. I really, really do. And we're going to have fan forum after this, by the way, which will be kicking off at 8 o'clock. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Trying to sort of really, you know, have a go try and decipher this. Because it's gonna be pretty cool. So yeah, get your comments in. I'm just trying to get the next one. And the title of our fan forum has changed, and it's changed to Springbok's revolutionizing rugby, and just because the innovation, the experimentation, what we're doing as a side, as a squad, has never been done before. And whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I mean, we'll kind of wait and see, won't we? Because obviously this could all backfire, and it might be a bad thing, but it's pretty weird. It's pretty fun, and I don't know why not have a bit of fun. Eh? Why can't we have a bit of fun? Why can't we do something a little bit different? You know what I'm saying? Why do we always have to be so boring? So yeah, that is the team. So I'm going to give you guys some time to sort of look at it. I'm going to get your comments into the description. I'm going to go through them in a little bit. Because yeah, there's a lot to talk about in terms of there being so many weird aspects to the team. So let's go some of the comments, shall we? Well, before they do that, should we go through it? So in the front row, Oxenchair, Bongi Mbonambi, Vincent Koch. The only thing really there for me to really sort of look into, it's interesting that Vincent Koch is starting. He doesn't usually start. He's usually off the bench. He's an impact player. I had gone with Trevor Nyakane starting, him coming off the bench in my prediction. But I'm pretty happy with either, to be honest. So, yeah, I think that's fine. No issue there. Jean-Claude Marvin-Ory, I think we all knew that barring any fitness concerns, that was going to be the combination there. Malcolm Mustard was always going to play. For me, Dwayne Vermeulen was always going to play. Quacker Smith, for me, was always going to be in the 23. It was whether he was going to start or come off the bench. So, at 7, very happy with that. I think I went Kubus went off the bench in my prediction. I had started Jaden Hendrickson. I went with Monty Liebach, and to a certain degree, I may be a little bit surprised. We haven't gone with Monty Liebach. I think a lot of this means that we'll be currently training for Ireland. We'll be, doing a lot of work on that. And so, yeah, David Williams, who is our second choice 10 and might have to play a 10 if he goes down, will get some minutes at 10, which is probably quite important. But Pimpy back into the side. Andreas Dazen back of the side. Kane Amudia at 13. Doesn't surprise me. I even said in my prediction video, I would quite like to see him at 13, but I also want to see JC Creel at 13 next to Esterhazen. So we should be able to get that wish. I should be able to see that, hopefully, in this game. Grant Williams starts on the wing. He's never played on the wing, as far as I can see, at a professional level. You know, he does cover wing and has had to in the past, you know, both for the Sharks and the Springboks, for example. In fact, I think when he made his debut, he actually came on at the wing. But he's never started there. He's not a wing. So that's going to be very interesting. And it's going to be interesting. Obviously, you know, he's not going to be tested defensively like he would be in 2 weeks' time if he was up against James Lowe. But it's still going to be a test positionally and testing with the high ball. Because we all know on attack, he's got the skill set. And he's an absolutely terrific player with ball in hand. But structurally, it'll be interesting. And positionally, it'll be interesting to see how he does cope at on the wing there. And then Billy Lou at fullback was also pretty predicted. Dion Free was always going to be an interesting one to see whether he would actually play some minutes at hooker. He is our third choice and our alternative option. So it's an interesting one that they are going to start him there, or not start him there, but they are naming him as the hooker replacement, for example. I'm not opposed to it, and but I think that's going to be an interesting and good to see minutes once again, because I think, you know, you're going to get the information. Are they going to be? So I'm going to make sure that's updating the fan forum thing. The biggest thing I think is can these players who have been named in different positions be relied on in those positions? Are they legitimate options in these positions or not? You know, because a lot of these guys are playing in what we would call, you know, the break, in case of emergency, break glass type positions. Grant Williams will never start on the wing for a World Cup final at this stage. You know, we wouldn't have Dion Free ideally as our hooker replacement in a World Cup final, for example. But is that the case? And that's the kind of information that we're going to get out of this game, and that's what I'm so excited about is to see if, you know, the contingencies and the experiments that we wanted to have pay off, and how much merit there are to them. You know, have they trained there in training, for example, and or else is this going to be the first time we're really going to get information on that? So that's for me, it's an interesting one. Apart from that, in the bench, it's all pretty straightforward until you get to the backline players. Jaden Hendrickse, as well as Faf de Klerk, who is our third choice 10. Jacques Ingelbach confirmed that in his first press conference after the World Cup announcement. And I suppose if you are going to be option at 10, you have to play some minutes at 10. So, I mean, again, Faf de Klerk's not played a lot of rugby at 10 in his career. But he's going to get some minutes there this weekend. And again, I'm not opposed. But let's go with what we're saying here. So, Matthew earlier saying, interesting team. Angela says, I'm mind blown. Contender say, I'm delighted with the 15. Love to see some experimentation for once. I mean, for once. If there's one thing that these guys do, they do experiment. Angela, how many tries? Spiros, I knew they were going to start Williams at 10. Money needs to rest. I don't think he really needs to rest, but I don't mind Williams playing at 10. Sapri Kiwi says, Williams at 14. Definitely testing for when we get injuries in the backs with a 6-2 split. Spiros saying, I wish he had started Dion Free at 2 or 6. Lorenta said we don't need a 10 for Romania. Campo records he called it, so I'll have to go back and check to see if he did. Spick says, what time are you leaving tomorrow, Spare? I think in the evening. I think this time tomorrow we'll actually have just taken off. This is me trying to show you how I am not currently panicking about the entire thing. Lots and lots to do tonight before we do leave tomorrow. But by Friday, we'll be broadcasting on the ground, and I can't wait to be able to bring you guys that kind of coverage. Vic says, conspiracy, they're trying to get one of the scrum halves injured to bring in Pollard. Dear. Christian says, eventually the 4 scrum halves in the squad makes sense. Katen says, Faf at 10 is up for grabs. Creel at 15 is also a possibility. Could we even see all 4 scrummies on at the same time? 9 Hendricks at 10, de Klerk, Ranach, Williams. I mean, I suppose we could with the right injuries. Not the right injuries, but with certain injuries. South Africa says, wait, I just saw the 3 scummies on the bench. Well, 2 scummies on the bench. But Bradley says it's absolutely a rusty team. Vic says Grant Williams about to beat Amanda's try scoring record. Marnus Pereira saying, I think Marnus should have started to really settle in the practice goal kicking. Doug creates, I mean, this is the team to try it out against, 100%. I think that's the main thing. Theo DePria says, much as expected, surprised that Dion's not started. If you expected to see Faf de Klerk as a reserve 10, as well as Grant starting in the wing, fair on you, mate. Sapper Kiwi says, Romania has a couple of speedsters on the wings, so we've got to be careful. Sav says, well, speedsters galore with that back line. I'm all here for the side. As Bradley says, a lot of questions answered here. Lorento's saying Williams will eat the Romanian souls. Mario saying it's the perfect team to put 100 points on the board. Strong engine up front and strike players to a man in the back. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. TJ says, name one bad ball carrier in that 15. You can't. Nandila says, super stoked to see Grant Williams run at wing. The guy has jet shoes. So I was saying, the people must look down on Liebach. He is a good player. Yes, he missed a couple of kicks, but he and on fire in the back line. Don't look down on Mani. I think everybody is starting to get behind him in that sense. Theo saying, Force Gun was the same team. Way cool. Ryan says, what do you think about Jaden and Faf on the bench? Well, I think they both need game. Well, I think Jaden needs game time. And yeah, so then we need to, and if Faf's going to be our option at 10, then might as well give him some game time at 10. I like the concept. I think he'd be quite cool at 10. Double says, Grant Williams, only choice that surprised me. Rest of the team, no-brainer. Rest big guns for Ireland. Lorenzo says, let's really go all out metal here and move Arkia to the wing. Put him at fly off. Put him at fly off. Ricardo says, like the team, just had to keep money on 10 for consistency. And Turns of Refrigeration says, who's going to kick for poles? I'd imagine the starting lineup it'll be, or in the starting lineup it'll be Damien. If he comes off, then Faf will take over. I do think Faf will come on a fly half. I think that's exactly what will happen. Steven says, I think a lot of the selections are made to give the new guys World Cup play time, so they will have experience for defending title at the next World Cup. Yeah, interesting point. Although, I mean, to be honest, I think if you look at the players getting game time in inverted commas, I don't think a lot of them are players who necessarily would be around for the next World Cup. Like Grant Williams will, for example. I don't necessarily think Kubas Reinach will. Don't know if Faf de Klerk will make it. Don't know if Dion Free won't make it, for example. So I think there's some players that will make the next World Cup, some players that won't. I think this is generally just seeing what we've got in the squad. Deathstroke says, what if this goes wrong? Well, then we panic, don't we? So Terry Master says, which 3 do you pick for your fantasy team this round? Who's going to be the kicker, actually? Gaz, the glaring option is not a kicker. Yeah, I think he will. To be honest. I don't see it. I mean, maybe MJ Esterhazen might have a go, or Willie LaRue might have a go. Maybe Katie Moody's just been decided to add that string to his bow because he's just apparently could do anything at the moment. My cousin says, has Rassi unfollowed Scotland yet? I think he has, actually. Felix Fox says, if we get outside 12, we score. Tennis says, there's also possibility to see Kitsop as an unused substance in your can come on at 1. Hopefully, Ox Grant Estes and get a first test try. Sean Keegan says, predict 120 score. Cheapest. Christian Van der Heber saying, World Rugby already thinking about lowering scrum offs altogether. Deary me. Well, yeah, so, I mean, as I said, we are going to be having our fan forum after this, so, yeah, I think the Buggers are really going to have a good time breaking this team down and seeing what what we have to look forward to. So hopefully you guys will join them. They go live at 8 o'clock. It'll not be with me. I need to go pack and make sure we got all our equipment so that we can bring you guys on the ground coverage from France from Friday morning when we arrive. And there's also a transport strike. Typical. I leave South Africa. I go to a first world country. What's the first thing they do? They strike. I mean, I'm leaving the land of the striking to go to another strike. What am I doing wrong, people? What am I doing wrong? Why is it always me? Why is everything following me? Dear. But hopefully it won't be too bad. And we can get through it. But yes, so the fan form, but I'm saying, I think the bottom line is I think the fan form is going to be a lot of fun trying to break down this team. So don't make sure you go and check out. It'll be Reza, it'll be Wes, it'll be Chris, it'll be Roots, it'll be entertaining. I'm hoping that they call out Reza's All Black affiliation and interested to see what they've got to say about the past weekend's worth of rugby, as well as what they think of as innovation. So that goes live in about 45 minutes. We'll be live for another 14 minutes. So plenty to still talk about on the stream here. So get your questions in, as well as your comments, and let's go through this, shall we? Mon says Rassi Mind Games, and Chile Butle is saying would have loved to see Kwaka and the Dupree twin. Well, he's not in the squad. Somebody says, fan from never checked the comments. Yeah, I have advised that they will be going through some of the comment stuff today. So we have done a bit of a tweak on the format, and so yeah, they are going to be doing a bit more interaction today, hopefully. Well, they will. So please do come and join and give them some input on that as well. Dad says, only Irish and SA fans knew how to be gracious in defeat. Oh, you have to lose first, mate. Sorry, I'm going to be that guy. I don't know who you support, what the agenda you got against Ireland and South Africa, but it's a weird thing to harp on about. Especially this particular Springbok side. If there's ever a Springbok side that you could not accuse of being arrogant, it's probably this side. If you want to go after the fans, different story. And in the end, good fans, bad fans, and that's kind of the same for any nation. But yes, Lorenta said, I cannot be the only person who actually liked the new kit. I wasn't crazy about it before. I saw it against Scotland, but it's just so in your face, just a piece of toy. I don't really mind it, to be honest. It doesn't look really like a match jersey. It definitely does have a certain amount of a sort of training jersey feel about it. I don't absolutely hate it, for example. I mean, I think the concept's pretty cool. I think the coloring maybe is probably what people hate about it, most about it. But I'm not absolutely against it. I don't think it's as bad as everybody makes it out to be. I mean, it could be worse. I think that's the main thing. It could definitely be worse. I do like the conspiracies that everybody's saying that it's to match, F and B colors. And I do like the Checker 60 chart, because that Checker 60 has got an ad spot on the Super Sports stream, so everybody's saying it's to match the kit. It does make me laugh. Contender saying the last time since we saw a scrummy at 10 in the box was Ruan Pino a long time ago. Last time a scrummy was on the wing was Francois Hougaard back during Coetzee era. Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen a scrum half starting on the wing as well as coming off on the bench as a 10, as well as having two other scrum halves in the matchday 23. This is definitely pretty groundbreaking. And hopefully it works. It'd be very cool if it does. I'm in for it. Daniel says Mali should have had more game time, especially going into the Ireland game. Yeah, I said I had him in my team. I did say I'd like to see him play as many times as possible. Again, though, if Marty Liba goes down, then what? And it's all very well to say, well, then we just replace him with Andre Pollard. But Andre Pollard has not played rugby for a long time. So if Marty Liba does get an injury and Damien Willemse has to start at 10 against an Ireland or in a quarterfinal, I suppose you do want him to have had game time there within the past month or two. So I suppose it is a bit of a chicken egg situation where you want Damien Willemse to be capable at 10, but at the same time you want to give as much game time to Marty at 10. So it's a tricky one to try and get right. I'm not quite sure what the answer is, to be honest. That was just watch me lose their shit. Rusty selecting 4 scrummies. World Rugby must change the laws. Lorenta said, Checker saw an opportunity and went for it. Loved it. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think they saw the jersey and went, right, boys, I've got an idea. We can get in there. Katie says, don't mind the safety net of Creel on the bench just in case Grant on the wing doesn't work out too well defensively. We can shift Kane there and Creel to 13. Yeah, well, that's the thing is you've got options here. You've got lots and lots of options. Because you could have JC Creel at 13. You could have JC Creel at 14. You could have JC Creel at 15 if you needed to. You could have Dion Free coming on hooker. You could have Bongi and Ami playing all 80 minutes. Dion Free going onto the flank. You could have the only options you don't really have is if we have 2 lock injuries, you'd be a bit short, but generally that very rarely happens. You can replace Kobus Reinach 3 times. Damien can slot in at 12. Damien can slot in at 15. Kobus can go onto the wing. We've got every single position sorted here. So the versatility is mental from that perspective. So, yeah, Gareth says, who do you think needs to shine this test to be utility forward on the bench versus Ireland? I think, What would I change for Ireland? I don't think I would make too many changes. The only changes I would potentially make for Ireland is maybe look at Jean Clare on the bench. Maybe instead of Markovic starting. But the problem is then you've got Dwayne, he's more of an outline 8, doesn't really play on the flank, and maybe you'll be a bit short on flank. Obviously, you've got Franco Masters, you can start there. So it's a difficult one to get right, really, isn't it, in terms of that 6-2 split. But in terms of utility forward on the bench, unless Dwayne actually starts against Ireland, for example, which you could do, and then you have Quacker Smith on the bench with Jean Clare and Arceus Neyman, go with the 2 big locks coming off the bench and a Quacker Smith who covers the entire back row. Wouldn't be the worst thing, having Quacker Smith in his pace and scramble defense with it in that Ireland game as well. But Brian saying the jersey can't be worse. Jersey are terrible. He says they could have used the same design, just make it green and gold instead of the blue. Yeah, it wouldn't really be an away jersey if it's the same colors, though. That's kind of the point, is to be an alternate jersey and therefore be different colors. So, yeah, it doesn't really help to be a different color to Ireland who are in green by wearing a different green jersey. Daniel says, I think talking about money, saying, I'm just thinking confidence for the Ireland game. To be fair, I think game time is important, but from a confidence perspective, Molly, but I don't think we'll have ever felt more confident in his abilities right now than to go and get a man-of-the-match performance against Scotland in his first Rugby World Cup game and to pull out an audacious no-look kick to Kurt Lawrence to set up that try. So I do think confidence-wise, he must be absolutely through the roof. I would have liked to have seen him get more game time, but I don't think we need to worry about his confidence so much. I think that maybe that's why. Maybe they're sitting here going, yeah, listen, he's going to be absolutely fine. He's on cloud 9. We don't need to worry about his confidence right now. Mario said, can you imagine the moment Dion Free runs on the field? What a story. The oldest Springbok ever to debut. And one of the oldest Springboks to play in a World Cup, which is very, very cool. And Save Khan said, remember how everyone lost it when Force Cummings were named in the squad? Not for the second, I think they'd all be the same 23. Versatility is the hallmark of the Rassi era for me. Lorenzo said, to be honest, I don't think there's a good answer for Liebach. We'll just have to play around his kicking boots. If he's having a shit day, we just have to shift to a very aggressive, more attack-heavy game. Contender says the push comes to shove. We could see a 4, same and 5 Visa for Milan combination. I don't think you'd see Visa there. Dwayne probably. Why didn't we look at Nahamba at 9-10? The stats were higher than the other scrummies. Yeah, listen, back the Sanella. It's big season coming up for the Lions. So I'm keen to see how he goes there. Wingless says, I bet 5,000 rand in the Bokke on Boyle. Well, did you bet for them to win the World Cup or just for this particular World Cup game? Because I know if they bet for the World Cup, there is a price boost on that, and so you will get a bonus, actually. We've actually got some very cool price boosts, and that's what I actually wanted to mention. So if you're looking to go and get some bets in for this weekend, then Boyle have boosted 4 particular bets for you. So first things first, you're going to go and you're going to get a Boyle Sports account by clicking on the link. I'm going to put it in the comments over here. You're going to get yourself a Boyle Sports account, and you can then go and get the following bet boosts, which have officially been launched on the platform. And they are as follows. So we have got a price boost on France to win both halves by more than 30 points against Uruguay, which is tomorrow. It was at 3.5. It's now at 4. We've got a price boost on South Africa to win both halves by 36 points or more, to score more than 36 points in each half. It was 3.5, now at 4. We've also got England to win the match by 11 to 15 points versus Japan. It was at 6.5. It's now at 7. So there are 3 price boosts on Boyle Sports for the next couple of days. And so, yeah, maybe go put some money on those and see what you can get out of them. So, yeah, Mario says you put Franco, Quacker, and Clay on the Saints for Ireland. I tell you what, I would be tempted to have all 3 of them, to be honest. I'm not starting this out. I'd have Quacker off the bench, Klein off the bench. Yeah, Monsieur, probably not wrong. Tandoza said, I wish we gave Grant Williams a start at 9. You should roll the dice with only Visa or Vermeulen, says Mario. Daniel says, thoughts on the centre combo for the Ireland game. Jesse Creel at outside centre for me. I don't know who we go to inside centre. Look, it's going to be probably go Damien Delendi. And in terms of why, Bundyaki looks red hot at the moment. And that's before they even think about playing Robbie Henshaw, for example. So I do think for a certain amount, defense might be the name of the game for Ireland when it comes to the centres. And with that regard, Damon Delende is a better defender than Andre Esterhuizen, I think, I would say. But Andre Esterhuizen has been knocking down the door and saying, you can't ignore me. So I would be starting Jesse Creel at outside centre. It's just with our partner with Andre Esterhuizen or I partner him with Damon Delende. And I don't really know what the right answer is. I'd probably like to see Andre get a chance. But at the same time, defensively, I think Damon Delende will be very important for that game. And as much as I love Kane Moody, and you guys all know I do, I wouldn't be starting him at 13 against Gary Ringrose, and against Ireland. This is going to be a second game at 13. Yes, he played well against the All Blacks, but the All Blacks weren't great. We put them under so much pressure. He didn't have a lot to do when it came to on the defensive side of things, for example. So I wouldn't say he's been truly tested so far. I think you'd probably be okay, but I think you go with your safe option. You go with your best defensive outside centre. You can really try and shut down Gary Ringrose and Hugo Keenan and the wings, and that's going to be Jesse Creel. So thanks so much, Rudes. Off tomorrow. So tomorrow, by the way, now that he's in the chat, you will be joined by Rudes for the watch along. And I'll be on a plane. So unfortunately, I can't even watch good old Rudes. Give us thoughts on France versus Uruguay because I'll be on a plane. They might have Wi-Fi. I might even see if I can get the game though. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Air France, over to you. Let's try and see if you can get Steve to watch some Regas on the plane. It'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Mario says start Dame at 12 and he tunes up the fly half on the day. Johnny Sexton. He looked pretty good over the weekend. Yes, it was Romania, but he looked very good. So he says after this weekend, would that mean everyone in the squad has gotten a run? If so, that's quite impressive. Yes. I think they would have. Who would not have played after this weekend? They would have all played. Trying to think. Yeah, everybody would have played after this weekend. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. You know, the fact that they can get everybody into the game time after the first 2 weekends. Stefan says that they didn't know play Amelia on the out center. He is super talented. I agree, he's super talented, but again, playing against a New Zealand, a frazzled New Zealand side and a Romanian side could be very different to playing against Ireland. And I wouldn't throw him into the deep end. He's always I would probably play him against Ireland, but I wouldn't play him at 13. I'd probably play him at 14. I'd probably have him at 14 for Ireland. So I would play him. I just wouldn't play him outside centre. You think they're grooming Kane as the next 13? I do think his future will be at 13. I do think that the Bulls will play him at 13 next season. I think they're going to have to. I think, first of all, I don't think the Bulls have got centres who are better than him at 13, or who maybe right now, but who aren't going to be better. He will be better than whatever they've got right now. And Bulls have got more backline and outside three players than they know what to do with. When you think of Billy LaRue, Johan Klaassen, they've just brought in Henry Immelman. They've got Kurtley Orense. They've got Stevie Jacobs. They've obviously still got Kane and Moody. They've got Savuka, for example. They've got so many outside backs. Play Kane at 13, and that solves a lot of those issues for them. So I do think he will settle at 13. I think he'll play a lot of rugby at 13. But there's no need to rush that, and I personally wouldn't play him there for Ireland. Kachena says there have been 14 changes to match day 15 with one positional switch in the 15. All in all, pretty much a new 15 versus Romania. Long time since we saw that. It's impressive considering you can only take 33 players, isn't it? Barry says if we lose against Ireland, point difference might be everything, and this is a mistake. Well, I suppose we'll see how many points we score this weekend. I mean, if you go and score 50, 60 points, do we know that the other team would have scored more, for example? Happy Zimmer says, how does this help anything? I guess we'll have to wait for Chasing the Sun too. Anton Musket says, excellent experiment. It's a win-win situation. Great mind game if you win comfortable and want to get a last chance experimenting before choosing the 18. Just must lose. Must lose, assume is what you mean. And yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Daniel says, given what we've seen so far from Ireland and France, who would you actually say is the bigger threat to the box? Well, it's difficult to gauge that Irish performance because it was against Romania. But that second half, they looked absolutely red hot. Johnny Sexton's looking very comfortable. Bundy Aki was looking good. Peter Omani, Ty Byrne. A lot of those players look top class, but they're playing against Romania, so it's difficult to see where they are. We'll get a better idea of where Ireland are this weekend. France, for me, were not particularly impressive for large parts of the game, and some very parts of the game where they were very impressive. So, again, I don't think they were France at their best. I think they can get better. They're playing against Uruguay tomorrow, and it's a very rotated side as well. No Anton Dupart, no Jalabert, no Aldrit, no Francois Kroos. Thibaut Flaming's coming off the bench. No Thomas Ramos is off the bench. Different centres, for example. So again, we're not sure. It would be difficult to know exactly where France are based on their first 2 games. We have to wait for probably next week. I think after 3 weeks, you can probably get an idea of where every single team is, because they've probably all played against a pretty good opposition by that stage. If Evan's unavailable for Ireland, who starts, I think Jean-Claude would. So I think some players from Bulls will go on loan, perhaps to the Lions. I hope so. Contender says, I wonder what. Of course, he's thinking, looking at the team. I think he's come to terms with it. I think at the moment for him, it's about finding what his next step is. We haven't heard about a new club, for example. So I'm not quite sure what his plan is. But yeah, Rugby says, in fact, that this is a high point scoring team than the other one that played against Scotland, minus Kurt Jarense. Well, it's a team with a lot of players who can score a lot of tries. Whether we will be able to put it together on the day, we'll kind of wait and see, won't we? Altiab saying they should have picked Pollard in place of some of the scrum halves. Well, they were injured, so weren't available to be picked, unfortunately. Mario says France should watch out for Italy. I have a feeling. I'm all in for that. Roberto reckons that the team will put on 100. People, we are going to wrap it up there, and the fan forum will be live in less than 30 minutes. So go and show them your support and go and have a good time with them. I will see you. Well, I'll have a couple of videos tomorrow. I'm not sure I'll get to my daily news show. That'll depend on how the packing and the organization, everything is going. If I do not get to see you live tomorrow, I will see you live from France on Friday. I am on a plane tomorrow night. We are going international, boys and girls. We are going to the Bordeaux, the Marseilles, the Lyons. We are going to go watch 8 or 9 games. I'm going to Stade de France. That is a bit of a bucket list thing for me, to be honest. Yes, I probably in my original bucket list thought it was going to be for like a Springbok French game. It will now be for an Ireland-Scotland game. But going to Stade de France is a bucket list thing for me, so I'm going to tick that off. This is the last major World Cup. I haven't watched a match, and I've watched the Cricket World Cup. I've watched the Football World Cup. I'll now finally get to say that I've watched the Rugby World Cup. So yeah, I'm going to get to see so many different. I mean, the last time I watched the Springbok game, I think was against Argentina down in Gqeberha, 2018. I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2018. So I have not watched the Box play in person in 5 years, and the next time I'm going to is going to be in a World Cup, which is blowing my mind. And I'm going to get to go to some really, really cool places. So a massive shout out to all of you guys, because it's because of your support, because you guys watch the videos, because you guys become members. You know, that would be absolutely brilliant. You guys have been brilliant, and it's because you guys support that we are able to do these things. Because the main thing is, the reason we're going over there is to up our coverage. You know, is to give you guys more for what you guys come and watch for and stuff like that. To try and make sure this is the best possible channel we can make it, and yeah, that's a big part of it. So big shout out to all of you guys. If you are new, we are like 60 short of 43,000 subscribers on the road to 50,000, which sounds mental. So a big shout out to all the new guys, and welcome to the new people. I see that there were a couple of new people from the weekend who are back on here, which is very cool to see. But yeah, people, so if I don't get to chat to you tomorrow live, I will see you guys on Friday. But we will have Rudy on tomorrow night for a watch along. We will have the fan forum going in about 25 minutes. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We will be directing you guys right over there, so you can go and just don't have to do anything. You have to wait 20 minutes, and they'll go live there. And yeah, please do smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. And we will see you guys all tomorrow. Keep safe, keep well, and yeah, let's start building up to the weekend as we get to watch a really fun Bok team do their thing against Romania.